Welcome to the last day of June. It is the 30th day of June, and according to the little poem, the little rhyme that they taught you in school, that means we're almost done with June, and we'll welcome July tomorrow. You remember the old poem, 30 days hath September, April, June, and November. All the rest have 31, except February, which is too complicated to explain right now. 82 degrees outside of our studios, and as expected, we did it yesterday. The all-time record high for the Wenatchee Valley. For about 5 minutes, right around 5 o'clock, we got to 115 degrees as measured at the official measuring station, which is Pangbourne Memorial Airport. 115 degrees. We shattered the old record for June 29th by a bunch, and we broke the old record of 110 degrees set back in 1941 by 5 degrees. It was brutally hot. A little bit of a break today, it's all relative. A gradual cool down, it's all relative. When this heat wave is all said and done, we could go at least 9, probably even 10 consecutive days with our daily high temperature 100 or more. That has never happened since they started keeping track of records. I got some rather eye-opening numbers to throw your way with the weather forecast in just a couple of minutes. Real quickly, before we move any further, the Let's Have a Blast 4th of July committee met late yesterday afternoon to decide what they were going to do about the heat that's going to be sticking around right through the Independence Day holiday on Sunday, and they have decided that outside of the fireworks display, everything else is going to be canceled. There was going to be a cornhole tournament. There was going to be entertainment on the stage all day long, a beer garden, all the stuff that they did 2 years ago. Of course, last year, because of COVID, all they had with the fireworks display. Well, because of the oppressive heat, they made the prudent decision, I think, to just go with the fireworks and the Wenatchee Big Band accompanying the fireworks display at 10 o'clock on Sunday night. Walla Walla Point Park will close at 8 o'clock on Sunday night, and then they'll do the display at 10 o'clock, and we will have that for you here as we have for the last 4 years. This will be our 5th consecutive year of broadcasting live on the roof of the Town Toyota Center to give you a nice little shot of the fireworks display. So that's breaking news. We'll have more on this as the day progresses. Sports, Mariners, Apple Sox, they got clobbered by Portland last night. The Pickles pickled them pretty good. The obscure holiday today in history, some celebrity birthdays, Mike Benatti's got an opinion, and Robert Sealby is the brand new prosecuting attorney for Chelan County. He replaced the retiring Doug Shea about a month ago, and our friend Jefferson Robbins had to sit down and had an extended conversation with Robert Sealby. We'll have an excerpt of that during the news, then we'll have the entire conversation between Jefferson and Robert Sealby, the new Chelan County prosecutor, in the back half of the program. We may set a record today now, and that would be the warmest overnight low. We're at 82 degrees. The National Weather Service is keeping an eye on that, but that could be a record for the warmest overnight low on June 30th. We'll let you know about that as we progress. Let's go ahead and take our tour around the Wenatchee Valley, and it's as I mentioned a couple of days ago, it's almost like you can see the heat as that huge, strong, blocking upper ridge that's been over our region for the past several days. It's starting to move now a little bit. It's shifting a little bit east. It's going from British Columbia into Alberta, but the cool down is just going to be a little bit each day, and unfortunately, as it moves, we're going to have some wind issues tomorrow. I wouldn't be surprised if we had a red flag warning issued before this day is over. It's going to be breezy tonight and Thursday, and even into Thursday night, not the combination we want. Hot temperatures, breezy conditions, low relative humidity. The relative humidity has been down like 13 or 12. That is bone dry. Good morning to the valley. Camera 2, Megan's Choice. That looks to be Lake Chelan, but I may be wrong. That may be the Columbia, but I'm going to say Lake Chelan. Waiting for confirmation. Oh, okay, that's the Greens Knob. So that is Lake Chelan, and that is pointed up towards Stehekin. That is the farthest camera that we have up Lake Chelan. It's a ways up there, but there's still a lot of lake to be had before you get up to the Stehekin area. That is a stunning view. The Greens Knob camera, again, that is as far up, but we have a camera. Now we have a towers even farther up Lake Chelan for Sky-Fi users, but that's the farthest one up the lake that actually has a camera on it that we can use. Camera number 3. Good morning to Wenatchee from the Omi Gardens camera. I haven't used that one in a while. Normally, people like to go to Omi Gardens this time of the year to escape the heat. You're not even escaping the heat at Omi Gardens. Yeah, there's lots of trees and lots of shade, and there's those little pools of water and those ponds and everything, but there's just no escaping the heat. It's just, I walked outside my house about 5 o'clock yesterday afternoon just to see how hot it was, and it's like walking into a blast furnace. Good morning to Omi Gardens as the sun begins to climb higher and higher in the sky. Camera number 4. Good morning to, I want to say, Stamen Flats? Stamen Flats. Okay, so we're looking mostly at the Douglas County side of the Columbia River, some of those beautiful homes down there in the, just past the Orondo area on their way up to Chelan Falls on the east side of the highway. Stamen Flats is, of course, your decision-making time as you cruise up 97A on the Chelan County side of the Columbia River, whether you go through the Navarre Coulee or whether you go right on through 97A to Pat and Mike's. There you go. Some good views for you this morning on a warm Wednesday morning. Okay, this slide for the National Weather Service is going to make you go, what? These are the record high temps, the preliminary high temps. They have to make sure that everything was on the up and up, that there wasn't any kind of software snafu with the automatic measuring stations located all over the state. You see Wenatchee there, 115 degrees. We hit that at 5:05, so the all-time record high for the Wenatchee Valley is now that. An 80-year-old record falls by the wayside. Omak went to 117, all-time high for Omak. Spokane, 109, all-time record high. Ephrata got to 116. Moses Lake got to 114. And are you ready for this? At a National Weather Service measuring station in Peshastin yesterday afternoon, right around 5 o'clock, it got to 119. 119 in Peshastin, and that would be the all-time record high temperature for the state of Washington. The old record was 118 at Ice Harbor Dam in the Tri-Cities area, set back in August of 1961. 119 at Peshastin. Again, these are the preliminary high temps that we hit yesterday late in the afternoon. We'll get official word from the National Weather Service later on. Any way you look at it, it was just brutally hot. And although we're going to start cooling down, it's going to take its sweet time from the National Weather Service. Here we go, right around 113 or 114. So yeah, much cooler than yesterday. No real wind this afternoon. As I mentioned, that strong upper ridge is actually starting to shift now. It's moving over to the east, and that's going to cool us down to about 102 on Thursday. Now, it's not shown graphically, but it's going to be windy tonight. We'll have northwest winds about 10 to 15 miles an hour tonight as that dome shifts. Tomorrow, we're going to have winds about 8 to 14 miles an hour, gusts above 20 at times on Thursday. Don't like to see that. Thursday night, we could have the occasional gust as high as 30 miles an hour with very warm overnight lows. Then we warm up a little bit even on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Monday, we could dip below 100 for the afternoon high, but if this continues, and it looks like it will, we are going to go 10, maybe even 11 days in a row of our afternoon high being 100 degrees or higher. That has never happened since they started keeping track of these things. This is a historic heat wave. 115 yesterday. And you know what? It felt like it. Going to take a break at 8 minutes after the hour, and when we come back, we'll have your news on this Wednesday, and there's a lot of it. It's coming right up. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Live channel.
Kids are resilient. I just love their energy. They bounce back so quickly. I love the stories they tell. I love just their charisma, their character. I love to see that subtle smile that you pull out of a kid, you know, when you start talking with them about something they really like. I just love what I do, and I can't imagine I would be as happy doing anything else.
When you call Dick's Heating and Air Conditioning, you're calling on 35 plus years of experience in the Wenatchee Valley. Spending extra time in your home, you may have discovered an unwanted aroma. Stinky feet, pets, who knows what. Call Dick's today about installing their Trane CleanEffects electronic air cleaner or a Rheem Halo ultraviolet air purifier. Either way, the air quality in your home will be improved. Proudly servicing all of North Central Washington, call 884-6444 today.
82 degrees in downtown Wenatchee. Ephrata, if you're watching out in the basin, you're already at 90 degrees. We're going to be almost as warm as we were yesterday. Then we gradually cool down, but temperatures will remain at 100 or above through the early part of next week. And here are your headlines. Chelan County Sheriff's deputies arrested a suspect Tuesday in the mysterious death of that woman, 18-year-old Paulina Mosqueda Rodriguez, whose body was found in March of last year near Horse Lake Road, 5 months after she was reported missing. The suspect is 21-year-old Wenatchee man Julius James Ceballos. Police obtained a warrant for Ceballos' arrest on Monday from a Chelan County judge, citing evidence that he had played a part in Mosqueda's death. He has not yet been criminally charged. Mosqueda was expected to return home to Waterville in October of 2019 after traveling by a Greyhound bus between Wenatchee, Seattle, and Ellensburg. Instead, she was missing for months until hikers discovered her body down an embankment near the Sage Hills trailhead on March 17th of 2020. Her body showed signs that she had been stabbed and shot. Ceballos has 2 previous convictions for conspiracy to deliver methamphetamine. In 2019, he was charged with second-degree attempted rape, prison riot, second-degree assault, witness intimidation, and unlawful imprisonment for an alleged attack by a group of inmates on a fellow inmate at the Chelan County Jail, but those charges were dropped after the victim fell out of contact with prosecutors. Detectives say the investigation remains open even after the arrest yesterday. Anybody with information related to this case should call 667-6845 and leave a message. Chelan County officials say the risk of wildfire is very high throughout most of the county. As of Tuesday, county commissioners have put in place measures that outlaw recreational campfires and all outdoor burning in unincorporated areas. Now, historically hot temperatures have left forests and sage lands tinder dry in the Chelan and Valley zones of the county. As a reminder, recreational fireworks are prohibited in both Chelan and Douglas counties. A vehicle went off Highway 17 and sparked a wildfire. This happened Monday afternoon at Lake Lenoir. That's about 8 miles north of Soap Lake. Traffic on the highway was blocked for about an hour while firefighters from Grant County, Fire Districts 7 and 13, quickly contained the blaze. The Washington State Patrol said 61-year-old Larry Gibb of Arizona told troopers he was driving his 2004 F-350 North at about 12:45 in the afternoon when a southbound vehicle swerved into his lane, and that forced him to take evasive action. Trooper John Bryant said Gibbs' truck hit a rock wall, bounced off, and crossed the highway, where he ended up in a ditch. Gibbs suffered minor injuries and was not hospitalized. Wenatchee Valley College, right here in Wenatchee, will partially reopen its campuses in a few days as the COVID-19 pandemic is on the wane. Starting tomorrow, both the Wenatchee and OMAC campuses will be open to students and the public 3 days a week. Tuesdays through Thursdays from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. Masking and social distancing are still required. The college plans to reopen fully in September, just in time for the fall quarter, if conditions allow. College President Jim Richardson says, quote, providing in-person services is critical to better serve both our prospective and current students, unquote. Leavenworth Mayor Carl Floria is trading some of his responsibilities with the city administrator. Ana Cortez Steiner, who joined the city last fall, will oversee strategic projects and initiatives, while Floria, elected in 2019, will manage the city's staff and offices. Now, that's normally been the job of the city administrator. Floria says the move will help expedite projects, including a wastewater treatment update, developing a potential community center and park, and master plans for the city's downtown and waterfront. Chelan County's new chief prosecutor is just getting started on the job, but he already says he plans to run for election for the post next year. Robert Sealby, 59-year-old career attorney who's practiced law in Wenatchee here for 30 years. He was appointed to the prosecutor's office and sworn in June 1st to take the place of retiring prosecutor Doug Shea. He spoke to our very own Jefferson Robbins about his new role as Chelan County's top lawyer.
Doug has a great reputation. He ran a very good office, and I thought I'd like to get in there and kind of keep it going.
Talk about the prosecuting attorney's role as lawyer for the county. What does your office do for the county in a legal sense?
Well, the county is our client. That's the easiest way to look at it. We're the attorney for the county. So, for example, if Susan's got something going on with Dina Walters, the assessor, Susan is her legal counselor. If Eric's got something for me, I'm Eric's legal counselor. Whether it's reviewing a contract, looking at a public works project, getting involved in litigation, whatever the case might be. So the county is our client. The county commissioners are our client. They come to us with a variety of legal issues we need to research, give them advice on, give them direction on. We can't tell them what to do. We give them the advice. I don't make any decisions as far as what the Board of County Commissioners wants to do and that type of thing. We just are their legal advisors. And that's for all departments across the county, whether it's the Sheriff's Department, the Treasurer's Office, the Assessor's Office, the Clerk's Office, the Auditor's Office. But as an elected official, I've got independence from them and discretion to do what I need to do, I think, on behalf of the county. But I can't go out and do something, file a lawsuit or take some action without still talking with the county commissioners or talking with the various departments that we represent.
As you come into office, the Blake decision is something that local prosecutors are having to try and wrap their heads around a lot. You're probably coming into this with a caseload of people saying, I want my conviction overturned because Blake dictates so. So how does your office handle something like that?
Well, we've got one prosecutor who's kind of dedicated to that, Lee O'Brien. And Lee's very good at following those cases. There's funding issues that the legislature requires reimbursement on fines or LFOs, legal financial obligations that these folks have paid as a result of those convictions. So it's not only vacating the conviction, but it's reimbursing fees or fines that have been paid. And I think the legislature earmarked $42 million statewide for counties to make sure those reimbursements can get paid. So Lee's working with Kim Morrison, our clerk, to try to backtrack and determine all the cases where these convictions occurred because of these drug possession crimes, which are no longer crimes, or won't be soon, but we're already treating them like that. It's going to be an ongoing process. I mean, I think they go back, we were looking at cases that go back 20, 25 years, some of them, and some people we won't find probably. And it's nothing that's going to be resolved in the next year or two. It's probably going to be 3, 4, 5 years before everything's taken care of, and maybe not even then.
And again, Jefferson's complete conversation with Robert Sealby will air in the back half of this program. And finally, Royal City Police Chief Ray Rodriguez came to the rescue of a lost turtle he spotted roaming on a city roadway. Yesterday morning, Rodriguez said the little turtle wasn't anywhere near a source of water, so he gave him a lift to a cooler, wetter area. The turtle wasted little time in making a beeline to the water to ride out the scorching hot weather that we had yesterday. Go get him, little turtle. There goes Yertle the turtle, off to the water. Way to go, Ray, by the way. Nicely done, saving the turtle. Bloop, there he goes. Oh, yeah. Once again, at 18 minutes after the hour, if you didn't join us at the top of the program, this is the press release from the Let's Have a Blast 4th of July Committee announcing that they're still going to have fireworks on Independence Day Sunday at Walla Walla Point Park, but all the other associated activities have been canceled. That includes all the entertainment on the stage, with the exception of the Wenatchee Big Band. They're still going to be providing the accompanying music to the fireworks, but all the other stuff, the cornhole tournament, the beer garden, all the other things that were going to be going on throughout the course of the day on Sunday have all been canceled because it's just plain going to be hot. So we're still going to have fireworks at Walla Walla Point Park on the 4th of July. Just all the other festivities associated with it will not be held. They will be closing Walla Walla Point Park to the public at 8 o'clock on Sunday night, but we will have it for you here, the fireworks display right here on the NCW Live channel. All right, we'll have a newscast for you tonight at 5, 6, and 10. And with the preview, here's the anchor, Grant Olson.
Good morning, Dan. Coming up tonight on the NCW Life Evening News, all-time record-high temperatures were set all across north central Washington yesterday. I'll let you know when we can expect a cool down in your north central Washington weather forecast. And in sports, Eric Grantstrom has the latest on the Apple Sox and Mariners. That and all the day's news stories coming up tonight at 5, 6, and 10 on the NCW Life Evening News. We hope you'll join us then. Dan?
Thanks, Grant. We'd love to hear from you, our viewers. You can use our Facebook page and the Messenger app. Just, you know how that works, I think, by this point. I think almost everybody has a Facebook page with a couple of exceptions. Speaking of Facebook, we'll be talking about that a little bit later on in this program. You can email us directly, news@ncwlife.com. You can go to our homepage, ncwlife.com, and click on the Contact Us icon. Going to take a break. Some good news for our local Wenatchee FC team. They're playing well in Colorado, and they're going to continue to play well into the summer. Mariners lost. Apple Sox lost. You can't have it all. Where would you put it? Sports is 1 minute away. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
At D.A. Davidson in Wenatchee, they believe your investment success begins with a personalized plan. A plan that is the roadmap you need to navigate your way to living your best years in retirement. D.A. Davidson can help you create a plan so you can take the time to enjoy the finer things in life. Let the financial advisors at D.A. Davidson help chart your retirement future today.
At Local Myth Pizza, we believe in real food, freshly prepared with only premium ingredients. Our cheeses are imported from Italy. Our sauces, dressings, and even our sausages are made in-house fresh daily. Featuring Northwest craft beers and 30 Chelan Valley wines and ciders. Family fun and amazing food. Eat local, drink local, and be local at Local Myth Pizza.
Come see why Sunset Magazine says you can't beat Local Myth Pizza.
Almost 22 minutes after the hour in sports, a local boys soccer team has qualified for a national championship. In a couple of weeks, Wenatchee FC B05 defeated the Chicago Fire and FC Dallas to advance past the National Premier League West playoffs. They beat FC Dallas 3-1 and Chicago Fire 3-2 in order to advance to the NPL finals. They will be back in Commerce City, Colorado for the championships starting July 8th. In baseball parlance, you don't like crooked numbers. For instance, 111 was the temperature at the first pitch last night at Paul Thomas Senior Field. And other crooked numbers is, well, what Portland put up yesterday against the Apple Sox. 17-3, a pounding last night. The first crooked number was a 7 in the second inning. The Pickles brought in 13 men to the plate against Wenatchee reliever Tyler Chipman, and it got worse from there, as we hear from the broadcasting voice of the Apple Sox, Joel Norman.
Well, the Apple Sox dropped the series opener against the Portland Pickles by a score of 17-3, a big 7-run second inning. The difference for Portland in this one, they would score 5 more runs in the 5th inning, and a tough ball game for the Apple Sox overall. Wenatchee would get a run back in the second, solo home run by John Newman Jr. for his first of the season, but overall a tough ball game for the Apple Sox as they have now lost 4 in a row after losing 3 over the weekend against the Corvallis Knights. With your Apple Sox update, I'm Joel Norman.
The home run from Newman that Joel did mention was the lone bright spot on a hot night at the ballpark for the Apple Sox. Portland's Leo Mosby collected 4 hits on the night. Jacob Jablonski crushed a grand slam home run in a 5-run 5th. The two teams will play again tonight, 7:35. Wenatchee will try and snap a 4-game losing streak, its longest of the season. To the West Coast League scoreboard, Charlie Saum and Louis Aviles had bookend 3-run home runs for Bellingham in the 1st and 9th inning to help the Bells beat Ridgefield 7-1. It was 114 degrees at game time in Walla Walla, with the Sweets outsweated the Cowlitz Black Bears 7-3. R.J. Gordon pitched 7 innings of 1-run ball with 11 strikeouts for Bend. The Elks surprised Corvallis 4-1. Julian Kodama was 3 for 4 at the plate for Bend. And Port Angeles roughed up former Apple Sox Seth Kuykendall for 6 runs in the 1st inning. The lefties went on for an 8-2 win at Yakima Valley. To the standings we go. Walla Walla gained a game on Yakima Valley in the West Coast League North Division standings. Is just 2 games back. Wenatchee remains 3.5 back. They're now tied with Bellingham at 8-11. Corvallis' lead over Ridgefield in the South remains 3 games, with both the Knights and the Raptors losing last night. Portland even its league record at 8-8 with the big win over the Apple Sox. The schedule tonight, same as last night. Ridgefield hosts Bellingham. Cowlitz is at Walla Walla, and Yakima Valley will host Port Angeles. They'll get going at 6:35. Corvallis and Bend, and Wenatchee and Portland first pitch at 7:35. Toronto brought its hitting shoes to the ballpark last night in this opener against the Mariners. They scored 9 runs on 15 hits. 9-3 was the final. Seattle starter Chris Flexen was okay. He lasted 5 innings. He allowed 3 runs on 7 hits, 3 walks, had a couple of strikeouts. He was on the hook until Ty France helped him out in the 6th inning when the Mariners finally got to Blue Jays starter Robbie Ray.
France jumping on the first pitch, a deep ride out to left center and gone. Tied game. Ty France, his 8th of the season, jumping on the first pitch. We are right back where we started.
Exit velo of 105, 410 feet, and it's something we talked about the start of this. It'd probably be difficult to stack up hits against Robbie Ray. The Mariners getting 3 of them, but the one thing, that's the 19th home run he's given up this year, 16th to a right-handed hitter.
So halfway through the 6th inning, we're tied at 3 apiece. Chris Flexen comes out. Rafael Montero comes in at the bottom of this 6th inning, and 4 batters into the inning, this happened.
Hits it high and deep into left center. This one's gonna go. Get out of here. Gone. Boba with a 3-run home run. He breaks the tie immediately.
That ball was smoked. It's a hanging breaking ball from the reliever Montero. Now, in baseball, there's only 3 players in baseball who have had 50 RBIs and 10 stolen bases in their first 75 team games. We were just talking about Shohei Ohtani and then Fernando Tatis. You know who the third one is? Bo Bichette.
Toronto's Marcus Seaman, by the way, followed in the 7th inning with a 3-run home run of his own. That made the final score 9-3. Manager Scott Service said the Jays have a good offense, and if you're not pitching well, they will clobber you.
Tonight I thought, start off with, Robbie Ray had really good stuff. Good fastball, good slider, certainly, piled up some strikeouts against us. But, I thought Flex did a good job to keep us in the ball game. We got the big home run by Ty France to tie it up there, but, you just couldn't hold them down. They've got a really good offensive club, and, you make mistakes, they take advantage of it, especially in this ballpark, with the power that they have. So, obviously we couldn't shut them down there in the 6th and 7th and got away from us, a little bit, but a lot of good at bats later in the game. Just, I got to give credit to Ray. He had really good stuff tonight, and certainly got us, owned us with the strikeout for sure.
Ty France, Mitch Haniger, and Tom Murphy all had 2-hit games for Seattle in the loss. The 2 teams will play again today at 4:07. Justice Sheffield will take on Stephen Matz. By the way, today's game not on television unless you have the MLB network, and I do, so I'm happy about that. But you can listen to the game on ESPN Radio. A couple of off-field stories. Mariner pitcher Hector Santiago is appealing his 10-game suspension and fine for an illegal substance found in his glove. Major League Baseball announcing the suspension and fine yesterday after his glove was confiscated, and Santiago was ejected from Sunday's game in Chicago after umpires found something sticky inside his glove. And in better news, former Wenatchee Apple Sock Marco Gonzalez and his wife Monica announced Tuesday the birth of their first child, baby Grace Linda Gonzalez, born on Saturday. Healthy 7 pounds, 4 ounces. Congratulations to the happy couple. All right, to the American League West we go. The Yankees bounced back from Monday's loss with its largest offensive output of the season, an 11-5 win over the Angels. Gary Sanchez, Aaron Judge, Miguel Andujar all went deep for New York. And speaking of going deep, he did it again. Shohei Ohtani hit his 28th home run of the season for the Angels. The Orioles scored 9 runs in the final 2 innings, 4 of which were 2-run home runs by Ramon Urias and Austin Wynns in the 9th. Baltimore crushed Houston 13-3. Texas and Oakland combined for 6 home runs in the Rangers' 5-4 win in the Bay Area. Nick Solak's 2-run shot in the 9th was the insurance Texas needed as Jed Lowry and Mitch Moreland hit solo home runs in the bottom of the 9th to make it close. And those are just some of the games that people are playing on this last day of June. It's June 30th. And the obscure holiday of the day today is National Social Media Day. Most everybody has some sort of social media profile, even if you didn't even create an account. It's almost impossible to avoid. It goes all the way back to 1997. 6 Degrees was the name of it. It was a social network. That was the first site that was based on a social media network model. It was bulletin boards and job wanted and messages to other people in the group. 6 Degrees was bought out by Youth Stream Media Services in 1999, shut down in 2000. Then it kind of floated around there. And then in 2003 came MySpace. You remember MySpace? I don't. MySpace was created. It was the most popular social network until 2006 when Facebook took over. Facebook was created in 2004, took all the things that were bad about MySpace and made it better. And then, of course, YouTube, so you could just post your own videos on your own channel. Twitter came in 2006, so you have, let's see, I can't even name them all. You know, Twitter and Instagram. I keep getting emails that people are looking at my LinkedIn account. I don't have one. Anyway, happy Social Media Day. Whether you like social media or not, you can't escape it. It is everywhere. Here's a sobering photograph for today in history. The Chicago stockyards at the turn of the 20th century was not a place you'd want to take the kids on a field trip. Of course, the book, Upton Sinclair's The Jungle, had come out a few months before. And basically, it just sickened Americans when they discovered that if you go to the grocery store and buy your meat or your food or your prescription drugs, there's nobody really to tell you that it's safe. And it wasn't safe. Of course, in 1906, a lot of people simply grew their own food and slaughtered their own cows. But finally, somebody said, no, there has to be some sort of oversight. And 115 years ago today, inspired directly by Upton Sinclair's The Jungle, the United States Congress passes the Meat Inspection Act and the Pure Food and Drug Act, and that is why we have an FDA. So when you go to the store, you know that the meat and the vegetables and the fruit and whatever it is that you're buying is fit for human consumption. There are still third world countries that if you're going to travel there and you're going to eat the local food, you are taking your chances because they don't have anything like the FDA. Thank you, Upton Sinclair. Do not read the book, The Jungle, on a full stomach. It won't be full for long. This is the anniversary of the Tunguska event. The Tunguska event, the largest impact event on Earth in recorded history. Of course, there were probably bigger events, either asteroids or meteors that struck the Earth in prehistoric times, and there's no record of it. This happened 113 years ago on about the most desolate place on Earth that isn't an ocean, in eastern Siberia. It flattened an estimated 80 million trees, over 830 square miles of forest. Nobody really knows what caused it. Either it was a meteoroid or an asteroid, pretty big. The problem was it was in such a remote area that nobody even bothered to visit the area until 20 years after the event happened. And that photograph was taken 20 years after the event happened on this date in 1908, but they didn't bother to take the picture until 1928 when somebody said, remember that big boom a few years back? Maybe we should go look at that. It's still a mystery of whatever caused it. Happy birthday to the Corvette. That is the 1953 Corvette. And on June 30th, 1953, 68 years ago today, the very first Chevrolet Corvette rolls off the assembly line in Flint, Michigan. They were about ready to ditch the Corvette. A couple of years later, they weren't selling particularly well. And Chevy was going to ditch the whole thing. And then Ford, their rival, came out with a Thunderbird. And they said, well, if they're going to have a Thunderbird, we had to have something that matches up with the Thunderbird because they were rivals, Ford and Chevrolet, back in those days. And so GM decided to go ahead and keep producing the Chevrolet Corvette, and they're probably glad that they did. Fun facts about the Corvette, which is 68 years old today. Almost half of all Corvette owners have college degrees. The fastest Corvette made, 1968. Only 43 Corvettes were manufactured in the year 1983. In 1983, a whole bunch of new emission standards and safety standards were enacted, and they were already making the 1983 model Corvettes, and so they destroyed 42 of the 43 Corvettes that were manufactured. All of them were purposely destroyed except one, which they kept and is in a museum. So don't be looking for the 1983 Corvette. It doesn't exist. The 1982 model year Corvettes almost killed the Corvette off because it was only available with automatic transmission. The Corvette is a sports car. It's a high-performance sports car, and true vet lovers will tell you you only want to have a Corvette that's manual transmission, not automatic transmission. And by the way, I looked this up yesterday. The 2020 model Corvettes will go 50 miles an hour in reverse. So when you say, honey, I have to drive back to the office, you can go pretty fast. Happy birthday to the Corvette. 19 astronauts or cosmonauts have died because of in-flight accidents, but only 3 actually died in space, and that was the crew of the Soviet Soyuz 11 spacecraft. They were up in a space station for 3 weeks. They were up there for 24 days, and it was time to come home. So they're in space. They were about 340,000 miles above the Earth's atmosphere. They were in space. They got inside their docking station and to take off from the space station to head back to their space. They got back in the spacecraft, and when they detached from the space station, something went wrong. The cabin valve that was supposed to supply them oxygen didn't work, and they suffocated within 4 seconds. They remain, to this date, the only 3 astronauts or cosmonauts who actually died in space on this date 50 years ago today. Finally, birthdays. Just one. Michael Phelps is 36 years old today. The numbers are mind-boggling, kind of like our temperatures lately. In 4 Olympic Games, he won 28 medals. That's more than any individual ever. 23 gold medals, most all time. 13 individual gold medals, most of all time. Is 8 gold medals at the 2008 Beijing Olympics, is the most of all time. When he retired with 28 medals in 2016, after the 2016 Olympics, Michael Phelps has won more medals than 161 countries have ever won. That is impressive. Michael Phelps, the greatest Olympian of them all, is 36 years old today. We're going to take a break. Mike Magnotti has an opinion. I'm stunned about that. And then Jefferson Robbins had a chance to sit down with Robert Sealby, the new chief prosecutor for Chelan County. He was appointed to the job. He was sworn in on the first day of this month. He's going to run for re-election, or election, I should say, in his own right in the next cycle. And Jefferson had a chance to profile Robert, and we'll have that conversation when we come back. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
Sure glad we went to Les Schwab.
I'm glad the baby's still happy.
Well, I'm just glad that along with tires, Les Schwab also does brakes, alignment, and a bunch of other safety services. I mean, if we had gone to a cheap tire store instead, I'd be a doggone wreck.
My thoughts exactly.
During the Les Schwab Spring Tire Sale, save up to $200 when you bundle select tires, wheels, and brakes. Les Schwab Tires, doing the right thing since 1952.
Save in an instant on stressless furniture at Boswell's. Right now, get a $100 instant rebate for every $1,000 you spend on any qualifying stressless sofas and recliners, designed with the world's most innovative comfort features. Don't wait. It's time for Stressless. Proud to be endorsed by the American Chiropractic Association. Shop Boswell's, 2915 Easy Street in Wenatchee.
Hi, I'm Chuck Dronan, Managing Member at Eplodolin Retirement and Assisted Living. It's been a tough year for all of us, but especially for those working and living in senior care facilities. Over the course of these many difficult months, our staff at Eplodolin has been vigilant in adhering to federal and state guidelines to protect and assure the safety of our residents and their caregivers. If you're in need of assisted living for a loved one, give us a call at Eplodolin. We're here for you.
Club Crow Bar and Grill in Cashmere is your place for famous blues, brews, and barbecue.
Currently, Club Crow Bar and Grill in Cashmere is open for dine-in and take-out. Owner Justin Hefner and his staff are just as excited as you to get back to their regularly scheduled full menu, music, and poker. So stay tuned. Meanwhile, Club Crow Bar and Grill in Cashmere is serving a limited menu for lunch and dinner, dine-in or take-out.
Club Crow Bar and Grill in Cashmere, the coolest place in town.
JDSA Law is a proud sponsor of these local sports broadcasts. They've been serving North Central and Eastern Washington since 1946. For over 70 years, their team of dedicated professionals has delivered quality, innovative legal services. JDSA Law partners with you to provide the finest legal advice and support as you navigate your personal and business challenges, risks, and accomplishments. At JDSA Law, they salute our local athletes and wish them well on another excellent season of competition.
This July 23rd through 25th, enliven your senses at the Lake Chelan Lavender and Art Festival. All ages are welcome to discover the world of lavender and beautiful art on display. Experience the art show, guided workshops, lavender demonstrations, and crafts for kids while enjoying live music, award-winning wine, delicious food, and more. Get your tickets at ChelanLavenderArt.com. See you this July for the Lake Chelan Lavender and Art Festival at Siren Song Farms.
Hey, this is Mike, Mad Dog McNaughty, and everybody is entitled to my opinion. Now, someone once said to me, the reason they had a problem with gay people is that I don't agree with the gay lifestyle. Okay, well, my question is, what is the gay lifestyle, and how do we determine who demonstrates it? Now, I'm a monogamous, heterosexual male, and of the gay people I know, their lifestyle isn't any different than mine. And for that matter, what is the heterosexual lifestyle? The life I lead? Or do we say the straight life is demonstrated by somebody like Hugh Hefner, that gal with the really big butt? What's her name? Kim, what's her name? Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. From what I can see, the lifestyle of the gay people I know is as normal and as mundane as mine. This is Mike Mad Dog McNaughty, and that's my opinion.
Getting ready for the boating season is easy with the help of Bombfile Boats and Motors. With marine technology changing fast, the service department stays up to date with the newest developments and factory certifications. They have what it takes to make boating fun and hassle-free for the summer. Then as that garage and driveway fill up in the fall, one call is all it takes to learn about their convenient service and storage packages. Now's the time to call and find out why Washington boaters have been trusting Bombfile Boats and Motors to service, store, and maintain their boats for over 70 years.
Highlander Grill and Golf Course is known as one of the finest wedding venues in the Wenatchee area. You do not have to be a member to come to Highlander. Highlander Golf Course offers a first-class backdrop for your wedding day. Our friendly professional staff will ensure your wedding and reception is picture perfect, from every moment leading up to the I do's to when the lights go down at the end of your reception. Hi, I'm Chelan, site coordinator for Highlander Grill. Give me a call to schedule your event today.
Hi, I'm Shauna Larson. I'm the designated broker here at Laura Mounter Real Estate. We are a locally owned firm, and we've worked hard to earn our reputation of always doing business the right way. Laura Mounter Real Estate is continually investing in the best technologies and highest quality marketing. For these reasons, our community has voted us the world's best real estate office for the past 5 years. If you have real estate needs, let a Laura Mounter Real Estate agent show you the difference.
Contractors, furniture makers, and weekend do-it-yourselfers around North Central Washington will tell you that Lombard's Hardwood Supply is the place to get what you need. Lombard's full millwork shop can handle jobs large or small. Lombard's has a full line of interior and exterior doors available, as well as custom barn doors. From alderwood to zebrawood and everything in between, it's Lombard's Hardwood Supply on School Street in Sunny Slope. Like us on Facebook and check out our monthly special.
I grew up in Colorado, went to school out in Missouri, college, and like a lot of kids, I'm not sure what direction they want to go in. So I went to school for 2 years and just decided that I wasn't really doing what I wanted to do, and my dad suggested that maybe I consider going into the military for a little bit and kind of get some direction, figure out what I want to do. So I enlisted and was in the Army, active duty for 3 years at Fort Campbell, Kentucky. Got to meet a lot of people, get some different perspectives on how life is. Went to some different places around the world that was pretty interesting, and got out and with the assistance of the GI Bill, I went back to school. I got an undergrad degree in criminal justice administration, and I had a very good professor who was kind of a mentor to me, and he asked me, "What are you going to do now?" And I said, "Well, I'm not I'm not sure, I think I want to pursue some type of law enforcement. He said, why don't you consider going to law school? Which really wasn't a consideration for me at the time. And I said, yeah, I think I'd like to do that. I grew up in a town a lot like Wenatchee, smaller, rural town, and so did my wife. I came over and interviewed and got hired by Joe Willett, a private practice guy who's since retired, but he was a great attorney. I learned a lot from Joe. Worked with him for 3 years, and I moved to another firm, and that's where I got into some of the criminal defense and criminal prosecution work over there. We had a city prosecution contract at the time, and kind of did that for a while, and then got into my civil practice and worked with some great attorneys in town. I'd been here for 30 years and knew Doug, and he said, we got a spot if you're interested. So I came and talked with Doug about it. In 2018, I started here in the civil department June 1st, working primarily with Public Works over here with Eric Pearson, our Public Works Director, who's, if you know Eric at all, he's fantastic. I mean, he's got a great department over there. He knows his stuff. He's a cougar, which is nice. And he just does a great job over there. I learned a lot from him. Learned a lot from his staff. And then Doug was only about a year or two older, and I just decided, I think after 33, 34 years, he was ready to move on to other things, so he announced his retirement. And I thought, yeah, I think that'd be a good move for me. I enjoy working with everyone here. I've known most everyone here just over the years, just through my being a lawyer here and having our family here. All our kids, a lot of our kids grew up together. I mean, Doug's 2 girls are the same age as my 2 boys, and some of the staff here, I coached their kids in Little League baseball and basketball and that type of thing, so I've known everyone for a long time. And Doug has a great reputation. He ran a very good office, and I thought I'd like to get in there and kind of keep it going.
You're, to my knowledge, the first lead prosecuting attorney in more than 30 years to come from that civil background versus having come up as a deputy prosecutor or public defense. So how do you think that's going to lend itself to your thinking about the office,
yeah.
The way you manage and organize the office?
I think it's going to have an impact based on my assistance with the other departments in the county. Susan Hinkle, who's our main civil prosecutor, is fantastic. She knows everything there is to know about the civil stuff, so she's a huge asset, but she's really got a lot on her plate. I mean, she's busy with everything, and Marcus Foster, our other civil deputy, works mostly with community development. He's really busy with that department. So I think I'm going to be able to provide a lot of assistance to them and the other elected officials and the other department heads, whether it's through the treasurer's office, the assessor's office, the sheriff's office, and that type of thing. The criminal staff up here knows what they're doing, and they are very good at it, and they don't really need any guidance from me. We still talk about everything. We still discuss whatever's going on the criminal side of things, but I trust them.
Talk about the prosecuting attorney's role as lawyer for the county. What does your office do for the county in a legal sense?
Well, the county is our client. That's the easiest way to look at it. We're the attorney for the county. So, for example, if Susan's got something going on with Dina Walters, the assessor, Susan is her legal counselor. If Eric's got something for me, I'm Eric's legal counselor. Whether it's reviewing a contract, looking at a public works project, getting involved in litigation, whatever the case might be. So the county is our client. The county commissioners are our client. They come to us with a variety of legal issues we need to research, give them advice on, give them direction on. We can't tell them what to do. We give them the advice. I don't make any decisions as far as what the Board of County Commissioners wants to do and that type of thing. We just are their legal advisors. And that's for all departments across the county, whether it's the Sheriff's Department, the Treasurer's Office, the Assessor's Office, the Clerk's Office, the Auditor's Office. But as an elected official, I've got independence from them and discretion to do what I need to do, I think, on behalf of the county. But I can't go out and do something, file a lawsuit or take some action without still talking with the county commissioners or talking with the various departments that we represent.
As you come into office, the Blake decision is something that local prosecutors are having to try and wrap their heads around a lot. You're probably coming into this with a caseload of people saying, I want my conviction overturned because Blake dictates so. So how does your office handle something like that?
Well, we've got one prosecutor who's kind of dedicated to that, Lee O'Brien, and Lee's very good at following those cases. You know, there's funding issues that the legislature requires reimbursement on fines or LFOs, legal financial obligations that these folks have paid as a result of those convictions. So it's not only vacating the conviction, but it's reimbursing fees or fines that have been paid. And I think the legislature earmarked $42 million statewide for counties to make sure those reimbursements can get paid. So Lee's working with Kim Morrison, our clerk, to try to backtrack and determine all the cases where these convictions occurred because of these drug possession crimes, which are no longer crimes, or won't be soon, but we're already treating them like that. So it's a big bookkeeping process, Jefferson. I mean, there's a lot of money that's got to be kind of earmarked. That's something that the State Prosecutors Association and the clerk's office is working with the administrator of the courts to make sure that the money goes where it needs to go to counties, because the legislature's placed that burden on us to reimburse that, but we don't have $42 million statewide in our budget to do that, so that's why we're getting funding from the state to do that. It's going to be a process that takes a long time. We got to look at everything. I think Lee's done a great job so far. In fact, I was on a meeting with our State Prosecutors Association last week, and it was very complimentary of how Chelan County's handled it so far with reimbursements and identifying what cases need to be looked at and making sure that folks are receive the intention of the law and the Blake decision to make sure these convictions are vacated. So it's going to be an ongoing process. I mean, I think they go back, we're looking at cases that go back 20, 25 years, some of them. And some people we won't find probably. And you know, it's nothing that's going to be resolved in the next year or two. It's probably going to be 3, 4, 5 years before everything's taken care of, and maybe not even then.
One thing that the legislature did do was dictate that now the kind of drug possession cases that might have been felonies under Blake become a misdemeanor and they go to district court. And the district court is then supposed to be seeking treatment options rather than incarceration or penalties. Is that going to change how you structure your deputies for working cases in district court?
No, you know, we've been talking about that because initially when the person is stopped, the law enforcement are supposed to give them a referral to some type of treatment option or some kind of alternative therapy, I guess I'll call it. So even before it comes to us, that's something that has to be looked at by law enforcement. And if it gets to us, we've got to figure out, we haven't figured that out quite yet, how we're going to do that or where the referrals are going to be, but that's an obligation we have to meet. I think one of the issues we have is what type of incentive will folks have to follow those treatment options, because they're going to be voluntary. And we can refer them to those, and then, you know, if they don't do it, I think law enforcement has to give 3 referrals initially, then once they get picked up, our office gives them a referral or district court gives them a referral, and then after that, it's unknown yet what happens if those referrals are unsuccessful or they just choose not to follow those. We'll just have to kind of see how that develops. So it's just kind of a work in progress. We'll work with Judge Four and Judge Mott to make sure everyone's on the same page with that, to make sure we're consistent. You know, the city prosecutors are going to have to do the same thing with their cases, so hopefully we've got some good consistency going with these referrals we have to start doing.
Robert, in your civil career, you and your former law partners were involved in defending the city of Wenatchee and I think also Chelan County to an extent in the lawsuits over the sex rings prosecution.
Right.
And it was successful defense on the civil end. I think that there were settlements that you were able to negotiate, but it left a real big mark on the community, and people still cite it to this day as a situation where prosecutions and arrests just went haywire, went astray. So how does that inform your perspective on managing prosecutions, you know, now that this is your primary job?
I think what I've tried to do, Jefferson, so far, just being a month in the job, is make sure we've got great communication with myself and the other prosecutors. And then if there's a case that comes in that has some unusual aspects to it, whether it's a sex crime case or some other type of case, that we're going to sit down and discuss it and get everyone's opinion on it. Like I said, based on their experience, get another set of eyes on it to make sure that if there's a charge, it's a proper charge. If it's not charged now, is there more work that needs to be done to get more evidence on it? So I don't think there's going to be anything that, well, there's not going to be any repeat like the sex crime cases from 20, 25 years ago, I hope. I'm not suggesting anyone did anything wrong at that time, but it's my intention to be very diligent about those type of cases and take a hard look at them and ask some hard questions. And if we need the sheriff's department or the police department, whoever's investigating those, to go out and do more legwork on that, we're gonna ask them to do that, and just be very aware of what kind of cases are being filed.
Lake Chelan Mailboxes is a small place with a lot to offer. Job one is shipping and receiving from A to Z. They pack it, they label it, they ship it. But did you know we also offer notary service, online computer access, legal forms, copies, greeting cards, and of course mailboxes, even passport photos. Chelan Mailboxes, everything you need in one small package.
Building. It's in our blood. Building something out of nothing. It takes heart, grit, and hard work. At One Way Construction, our crew is our family. With decades of contracting experience and our in-house design team, we bring a unique perspective to building. We know that if we work together, we are capable of reaching heights that are impossible to reach alone. The possibilities are endless.
Succession is leading the way for a new generation of Chelan wineries. Named Platinum Winemaker of the Year in 2017 and the one to watch in 2018 by Wine Press, Succession is setting the pace. Award-winning wines are just a part of the overall experience. Add live music on Sundays and fantastic views, and you have it all. Succession Wines, located on the north shore of Lake Chelan between Chelan and Manson.
Chelan Wireless is your Verizon authorized retailer featuring the latest iPhone and Android devices. Personal or business, they have the plan and the customer service you're looking for.
In these challenging times, Bear Foods is open and ready to help. From health to diet to home, we are here to take care of your needs. Bear Foods, the good food store.
From home furnishings to the latest in home entertainment technology, Deepwater Home and Electronics can provide the selection and the connection for your wireless world.
Already at 84 degrees outside of our studios. It's a couple of degrees warmer than it was 24 hours ago at this time. And if you're just joining us, we're going to toss that slide up one more time. Take a look at any of the geographic areas that you might find interesting. These were the high temps as measured at the various National Weather Service stations all over the Pacific Northwest. For Wenatchee, we got at about 5:05 on Tuesday afternoon, we got to 115 degrees, the all-time record high for the Wenatchee Valley. It broke the old record of 110 degrees set back in July of 1941. So not only did it beat the record, it shattered the record. Omak hit 117 yesterday, all-time high for Omak. Spokane, 109, all-time high. Ephrata, 116. Moses Lake, 114. Peshastin, unofficially, 119 degrees. Now, that big ridge of high pressure that everybody's been talking about is slowly gravitating from the British Columbia-Washington border to Alberta and Montana, and that's going to gradually cool us down, but you're going to have to be a little patient. Here's your forecast from the National Weather Service. We're going to break today's record high by a lot. The record high for June 30th is 102. That was set back in 1987. Will be a good 10 degrees warmer than that today. So another blistering day, and then that air mass, as it continues to move, will cool us down a little bit. to 102, 104, 105, 103, 101. Going to be windy, by the way, tonight, Thursday, and Thursday night. It's not shown graphically, but I want to let you know, get ready for some breezing conditions. We'll probably have a red flag warning issued before this day is over. And when it's all said and done, we could go at least 10, maybe 11 consecutive days with a high at 100 or above. Hot. Have a good Wednesday. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.